Hello everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel Devotion of Knowledge. So this is video which is not based on coding and programming, but this video is based on a book that I have recently read named Psychology of Money. And believe me, this book has a true potential to change your complete view towards money or finance. It won't teach you any kind of investing methods, that whether you should invest in stocks, mutual funds, index funds, etc. But this book is solely about your perspective, your mindset, your point of view towards money and finance. So I have extracted 7 key points that I learned from this book, although there are many of them, very promising chapters and concepts the book is having. But I have just figured out 7 very promising points that I have learned from this book that we'll be covering in the video. So let's start the video. So the very first thing or a concept that book covers into the first chapter of the book itself, which is everyone thinks differently about the money. So over here, writer has tried to cover a point of view that everyone is born into the different time zones, into different environments, different family backgrounds, different financial backgrounds as well. So everyone is grown up into such a way that everyone is having their own different perspective towards the money. So everyone thinks about money in a different way. Everyone tries to spend, everyone tries to invest their own money into different kind of finance or portfolios in a different way. So one should not judge anyone because everyone is born into different environments and everyone is having their own unique perspective towards the money. So one should never judge anyone on their point of view towards money or finance. This is the very first thing that writer tries to cover into the first chapter. Second concept that writer tries to explain into the video is about a luck. So writer explains into the video that luck plays a very vital role to one's financial success. Writer tries to explain this with a great example of a very well-known businessman, one of the richest person on the planet Earth, which is Bill Gates. So he explains with the event that Bill Gates was one of the very promising and one of the most sharp and intelligent person into the college. But apart from Bill Gates, there was one another person as well whose name was Kent Evans. And Bill Gates himself explains into one of the interview that Kent Evans was so much intelligent and so much sharp than Bill Gates in terms of technical knowledge as well as business and finance knowledge as well. So they were planning to open their own company in future, but the incident happened with Kent Evans while he went for mountaineering or trekking, we would say, and over there he went an accident and he died unfortunately in that incident. So writer tries to explain that Bill Gates was one of the person who was that intelligent and all, but apart from that Kent Evans was also there, but he was not lucky enough to be alive and have that amount of success as Bill Gates has achieved in his life. So apart from one's hard work, one's own skill, luck is also something that plays a very vital role in one's financial or any other domain's success as well. Third, and one of the most important aspects that the writer has tried to explore is that time is power. Now he gives an example of Warren Buffett. So Warren Buffett is having a net worth of $84.8 billion, and out of that $81.5 billion of him he got after the age of his 65th birthday. So it means the writer is explaining more about a power of time. So he explains that if one is aiming for a long-term investment success, then one should increase his or her time horizon, because investments and returns mainly work on one concept, which is compounding, and compounding is something which works on time, patience that a person has, and not on the intelligence or financial knowledge. So make sure this one thing, that compounding is something that works very well with time and patience. The fourth thing that I learned from this book, and believe me, this is something which is applicable to Gen Z or our generation very well, and it is less ego leads to more wealth. Now writer explained this very beautifully in the book, that today's people are more towards show off or something which is based on impressing others. So expensive phones, expensive gadgets, expensive clothes, expensive vehicles like bikes and cars. So one is spending so much on something which is not actually required for one, but he or she is buying to impress others. So if one is not having control over his spendings, then he won't be able to save for his future, which is one of the very key points that we will be discussing in the next part, means in the later part of the video. But writer explains that less ego means one should have a lead on the vessel after some time for spending the money, so that one can have some money as a surplus, so that he or she can save or invest at a particular way. Because the thing that a person wants eventually is respect and humanity, and this is something which can't be bought through a greater horsepower of a car or greater expensive phone. No, this is something that can be earned through hard work and helping nature towards others. So less ego leads to more wealth. This is one of the very promising chapters that writer has written in the book. Let's move towards the next part. Fifth most interesting thing, or the most fascinating thing, or a concept that completely shocked me was this: money is equal to control over time. Now, writer explains that we are living into the time where technology and everything is moving so fast that nothing is predictable. So, after some couple of years, or let's say after 20 years, you are willing to do something of your own, as per your own hobby, as per your own interest, passion in future that you are not doing right now. So, at that time, you should be having that financial backup beside you or behind you that can make you confident and that can accelerate your journey towards pursuing whatever interesting thing that one wants to do. But this is not possible if one is not having that strong financial backup. So money is something that can have control over your time in the upcoming years, because one day you wake up and you are willing that I want to do this particular thing at that particular time. So if you are not having that surplus amount of money or financial portfolio which one can build through savings and systematic investments, one can't have that much control over time. And writer also explains with the perfect examples that control, having no control over your time, is one of the very promising regrets that one can have into the life, and it leads to a very bad, I would say, mental health in the future, that or regrets, which is something which is not very good. So this is one of the most promising things that I got to learn, that money gains control over your time. Sixth idea that I learned from the book is to save without any reason. Now this is a very alarming, or I would say hammering thing, because savings is not something that everyone is used to or everyone is considering nowadays. Writer explains it with a very good way, that life is very unpredictable. Problems also come unexpectedly, as well as on the other hand, opportunities also come unexpectedly. So problems and opportunities both are something that requires financial backup or some sort of financial corpus that you should have with you in future. So saving is not something that needs a reason to do. Saving is a fundamental thing that has to be done, that must be done, to make sure that whenever any problems come into the future, because see, life is full of problems as well as some very good opportunities. For example, let's say some business opportunity you are having, you are getting into the future, but at that time you should be having good financial amount or financial backup with you to pursue that very golden opportunity in business or anything that you will be getting, you might be getting. So save without reason. Saving is not something which requires any kind of reason. It has to be done, it must be done. Seventh and the last point that I want to share with you guys is avoid extreme financial decisions. Now see, there are many cases or events in life where we are taking extreme financial decisions. For example, buying an expensive car. This is one of the example, but relatively many examples are there. But a writer explains with the concrete psychological facts as well as financial facts that needs, wants, desires are something which change constantly with the life. So if we are taking some extreme financial decision for any of your dream, I would not say dream, but any of the thing right now, that particular decision might not be relevant for you yourself only after 10 to 15 years, which might be seeming great or perfect for you right now. So right now you will take a decision and you will be happy, but it might not be that relevant or useful for yourself in the next upcoming years. So writer says that please avoid extreme financial decisions right now, because life needs, wants, desires are something which change constantly throughout the life. So you should be spending on your dreams and all that. Writer also explains that don't save too much as well. Saving too much is also an extreme financial decision, and spending too much is also an extreme financial decision. One should be having a balance between them and avoiding extremity in any of the decisions from financial point of view. So yes, these were the 7 most promising points that I got to learn from this book. And believe me, if you are willing to buy this book, you can buy this book from Flipkart or Amazon, because I just got this for around 140 or 150 rupees, and it is just having 240 pages. If you are reading just 12 to 15 minutes a day, you will finish this book in almost 18 to 20 days, because I finished it in 20 days. So believe me, if you are willing to read, I would say, I would suggest all of you to please read this, because this will change your perspective towards money, towards finance on a greater extent than you can imagine. Even I was also imagining that what 240 pages can do with my financial point of view, money point of view, but believe me, this 240 pages has true potential to change your complete mindset towards money, towards finance, towards your spending habits, towards your spending habits as well. So I suggest you all please go through this book, and if you have any suggestions, feedbacks, any questions, any queries, etc., please feel free to write in the comments section below, and I will reply them as per my convenience for sure. So yeah, I think that's it from my side for this particular video. We will be meeting in the next video very soon. Till then, keep learning and keep hard working. Thank you very much.